What's up YouTube, Jeff back again, and today got another exciting videos for you guys. Today we're going to do a little comparison and my thoughts on the Pixel 6 Pro versus the regular Pixel 6. Now, I've had the Pixel 6 Pro for quite a while now because Google sent me out a nice review unit. You guys know I made quite a few videos on it. So I've already given you guys my thoughts on this for the most part. So I want to talk about how it compares to the Pixel 6 and what I think of the Pixel 6. I got the Pixel 6 a few days ago now. I think I've had it for about 4 or 5 days. And overall, the Pixel 6 is a much different phone, in my opinion, than the Pixel 6 Pro. Now, that may seem a little strange to say that, but it really is different in a number of ways. Of course, you guys know some of the basic things like the size difference. Obviously, the Pixel 6 is just a smaller phone, even though it's really not that much smaller. You guys can kind of see here the relative size. It's not really that much smaller, but it is a little smaller, and it also has the flat sides. So that's something a lot of people are interested in. It doesn't have the curved edges, nice and flat, which means you get a little bit more protection if you're going to use a case with this device. And that is something that I like as well. You also get less false touches. It's a little bit easier to type on it around the edges and things like that. Now, some of the other things about this phone that just make it feel a little more like a Google phone than the Pixel 6 Pro to me. I know some other people have touched on this. It just feels more like a Pixel or a Nexus device, whereas the Pixel 6 Pro kind of feels like it was made by Samsung or Xiaomi, another manufacturer. A couple things that are just subtle things that I'll point out. The first thing is you've got the matte sides here versus the gold glossy sides on my Pixel 6 Pro. That's one thing that definitely makes it feel more like a Pixel device to me. Some of the other things too is the buttons. You can see the button texture is a little bit different on each device, whereas here you have a little bit of a, I don't know, there's a little texture to it. These are a little smoother, kind of similar to past, Pixel devices and things like that. It also just feels a little different. Maybe that's because of the fact that it is a little smaller. It feels more like a Pixel phone, more googly, I guess, which is kind of a weird thing to say, but it is something that Google uses themselves to describe the kind of devices that they make. So of course they look very similar in terms of a lot of the aesthetics, with the camera bar at the top, the color. I really like the seafoam color, by the way. And let me talk a little bit about the display a little bit. So in terms of the display, I've really enjoyed the display on this device, even though it's not 120 hertz. The 90 hertz doesn't bother me whatsoever. I've really enjoyed using it. I feel like it's really smooth. Another thing about this device that I will say, I feel like the fingerprint sensor, I mean, this could just be maybe me being silly or not really paying attention, but it feels a little faster than on my Pro. So that could mean a couple of things. One, either it really is faster, and so maybe there's a difference in variation among the devices, or maybe I just did a better job of setting up the fingerprint sensor on my Pixel 6 versus the Pro, which is also a possibility. And in that case, that means that there's quite a bit of variation in how you actually set up the device. Everything else in terms of Android 12, I mean, Android 12 still has quite a few bugs. I've talked about this a little bit in the past. I still have forced closes on apps like YouTube Studio, some other games and things that I play, so that really isn't a lot different on the Pro versus the regular Pixel 6. In terms of the camera, I really haven't noticed the difference. I mean, obviously, the only thing you really lose here is that telephoto, which, to some people might matter, but in terms of the actual camera quality coming out of the main camera, I really haven't had a huge issue. I've taken quite a few pictures with the regular Pixel 6, and it feels overall just fine to me. I also, in terms of the overall size of the devices, I don't know that that's really a distinguishing factor, like I said, because they really are pretty similar. And actually, I've been using, show you guys, I've been using the Spigen Tough Armor case. So if you actually throw, let me see, if you actually throw the Pixel 6 in the Spigen Tough Armor, then this actually is just as big as the regular Pixel 6 Pro for the most part. I mean, it's just as tall and it's thicker. So obviously, I don't know that the size difference really makes a huge deal to me. One thing, you can see from the case as well, like I mentioned, nice and raised up a little bit more on the Pixel 6 because it does have the flat sides. And cases do fit a lot better. I talked about this a little bit when it comes to the Pixel 6 Pro. I showed some options. The Bellroy one is the one I've been using. This is the one I made a video on. You guys can already see it too. My Bellroy one's getting a little dirty because it is a light colored case. But over time, you know, that's going to happen with some leather. You can clean it. But this is the one I use, but they're really tight fits with the Pixel 6 Pro. With the regular Pixel 6, you know, you can get a phone case like this Tough Armor that fits perfectly, but you can still pop it on and off very easily whenever you need to. So that's something to consider about the two phones as well. And I do like, and sort of the cases fit a little bit better, the fit and finish on the regular Pixel 6. At the end of the day, you know, it really depends on, do you need the telephoto and do you care about the 120 hertz, I guess. I don't know that the design would make me go one way or the other. If anything, I kind of like the flat display a little bit more. So I'd rather have the flat display than the curved display. The 120 hertz is kind of rough. I mean, I guess I would rather have 120 hertz, obviously, because it does feel a lot better. Losing the 120 hertz is a little rough on the Pixel 6 if you use, you know, 120 hertz next to it like I have. So at the end of the day, though, I think this is a great deal for $300 less. I mean, for most people, that's going to really be the thing that makes a huge difference to you. And I really enjoyed using the phone so far. I'm going to keep it just so I can continue doing some comparisons throughout the life of the device and also to run some beta software and things like that. But I think you'd be really happy with either device, and this one at $599 is by far the best value in Android. Anyway, Best Buy does have the Pixel 6 in stock still, so if you guys are interested in picking it up, I'll drop the link below. Pixel 6 Pro kind of comes in and out of stock at the local Best Buys, so if you check out the links below, you may be able to find one occasionally pop up, especially if you live in a big city like I do. Otherwise, that's kind of my overview and thoughts here after the first few days. It just feels like a more googly phone to me. The overall size, fit, finish, the matte sides and everything like that, the flat front. I like both phones though, both very, very good options that anybody would be happy with. If you guys enjoyed the video, please like, comment, subscribe. You can always follow me on Twitter below at the link in the description. Appreciate you guys checking it out, and I'll see you in the next one. Thanks a lot for watching.